So let's continue our discussion of A Gesture Life by Chang-Rae Lee and look at chapter 16. So in this chapter, the black flag image symbol will once again be sort of a central part. And it starts relating to how Hada, just all around him, it seems as if whoever's life he interacts with, whoever he is close to, he seems to almost bring bad luck or this aura of death and despair into their lives. And he starts sort of seeing almost like himself as two people. On the surface, he's a well-loved, kind old man. Everybody thinks he is like, just a perfect person, very kind, well-spirited, generous, friendly. And then he is aware of the secret second self. And you'll remember he mentioned the secret swimmer. And that's the part of himself that he keeps hidden. So it's the part of himself that is associated with death and brings bad fortune or consequences into other people's lives. And we'll see that evident in his relationship with Sunny. So you'll remember that as a teenager, Sunny had a first pregnancy prior to her giving birth to Thomas, and there was, an indication that Doc Hada, her adopted father, played a central role in convincing her that she should go through with an abortion. And this was sort of a moment which caused father and daughter to sort of become more estranged from one another, and they hadn't talked in many years. So we get the full story in chapter 16 of Sunny's abortion and how Hada played an integral role in those events that led up to her having this abortion. So it seems as if his character is, not as he seems. He has this secret parts of his past, his memories are not fully aware, like the rest of his community, his friends aren't aware of these memories and these things that he's done in his past. And he starts seeing himself as almost like a curse or a burden on the lives of his loved ones. So if you think about all the individuals whose life he has influenced or impacted, Mary Burns, Mrs. Hinkey, Thomas, Rennie, Mary Burns, all, did I mention that? Okay. Kay, all of these characters who, are part of his life at one point or another and seem to sort of suffer in some way, either because of him or just being sort of associated with him. Whether that's just coincidence or not, he starts seeing himself as kind of a bad omen or a bad sort of malevolent curse in the lives of those he cares about. And on page 333, the image of the black flag will be used once again to indicate how he kind of brings with him all of this bad luck or curse on the lives of those he cares about. So this is 333. At the top of the page, too much now I'm at the vortex of bad happenings. I am almost sure I ought to festoon the facade of my house and the bumpers of my car, and then garland my shoulders with immense black flags of warning, to let every soul know they must steer clear of this man, not to wave greetings or small talk with him or do anything to provoke the hand of his agreeable, gentle-faced hubris. Now I finally think how much sense it made years ago when, perhaps without exactly knowing it herself, Sunny was doing all she could to escape my too grateful, too satisfied umbra, to get out from its steady, infecting shade and accept any difficult and even detrimental path so long as it led far from me. So he sees himself as this this bringer of bad luck in the lives of the people he is close to. And the black flag is a symbol of that death or sickness that he seems to cast on those whose lives he touches. So whether this is a fair assessment of him or not, I don't know. It just, that symbol of the black flag and its connotation with his name, Kurohata, is evident in this reflection of his personal character. And we get to see how, in flashback to his relationship with Sunny, how it was his influence, his impact as her father figure that led her to go through with the abortion, even though she was unsure of what she should be doing. And this is what caused the sort of breakdown of their relationship. And it's also, in a way, a repetition of what happened with Kay during the military, or his military service. So once again, he takes sort of a control over a woman's life and controls her fate or her decision, and hurts her indirectly or directly, however you want to see it. So let's talk a little bit more about his role in Sunny's decision to get the abortion when she was just 18 years old. So we get the full story of how Hata was involved in Sunny's decision to go through with an abortion. And in fact, it really wasn't her decision at all. It was her father's sort of pressure, and he had arranged the whole procedure to be done and then told her that it was just a consultation. So he really sort of was instrumental in the end of her first pregnancy. So she was an 18-year-old girl at the time, very frightened. She hadn't been close with her father. They'd been fighting. And then she's pregnant with her boyfriend Lincoln, his child. She reaches out to her father. This is on page 338. And she was described as very anxious, afraid, and she's sort of reaching out to her father for help. And it becomes evident that she's very close to full term in her pregnancy. So usually they would, doctors would not perform an abortion at this late stage in the pregnancy. Usually an abortion would be, if you were under 4 months. But it was evident that, she was very close to her delivery date. And, this would have been, very traumatic on the mother and the doctor as well, who, says that he's doesn't usually perform this kind of late-term abortion. But it is Hada who takes the role and sort of insists that this abortion take place at that moment. And, even though the doctor is reluctant to perform the procedure, Hada still insists and even volunteers to be the medical assistant during the procedure. This he has to lie about when Sunny is unaware that her adopted father is actually in the room while she's getting her procedure done. And he takes control of her circumstance, her life in this instance, and just the same way that he always wanted to sort of control Kay, the comfort woman who he fell in love with, and sort of take her life in his own hands. Here he is doing the same thing with Sunny. So it seems as if this is almost like a repetition of the past, or his relationship or patterns with women. And so once again, we have Hada witnessing the sort of gruesome, parts of human life and death. So he was a witness for Kay's death, or the aftermath of her death. He's a witness for his daughter's abortion. It seems very often that he is sort of the bystander, the onlooker, the witness for bad happenings in people's lives, while he kind of remains on the sidelines, unaffected, at least on the surface, unaffected by these horrible circumstances. And then at the bottom of page 345, he comments on this part of his life journey, how he has too often been a part of other people's traumatic circumstances. So in 345, he says, "For what I saw that evening at the clinic endures, remaining unaltered, preserved. And if in my life I've witnessed the most terrible of things, if I've seen what no decent being should ever look upon and have to hold in close remembrance, perhaps it means I should be left to the cold device of history, my likeness festooning the ramparts of every house and town and district of man. But it is not. And I do not live in broad infamy, nor hide from righteous pursuers or seekers of the truth. I do not mask my face, or screen my doings of each day. I have not yet been banished from this earth, and though nearly every soul I've closely known has come to some dread or grave misfortune, I instead persist, with warmth and privilege accrued to me unabated, ever securing my good station here, the last place I will belong." So he's aware of this kind of injustice in the world where he gets away, unscathed. His reputation, his privilege in life is, just as it's always been. Yet the people who have come into his path have been, victims of grave misfortune, and he's played in their awful circumstances. Even the Hickey family, who we see in economic turmoil. Mrs. Hickey has died, their son is ill. It seems as if the father also kind of blames Hadda in a way for their family's misfortune. So he stands as a sort of witness or bystander for a lot of other people's misfortune, and I don't think he's innocent as he first appears. So as a kind, gentle old man, he has a sort of double life. He's done things in his past that continue to sort of haunt him, and we see evidence of that with his relationship, his dysfunctional, troubled relationship with Sunny. So that's sort of Hadda's character sort of exposed in this chapter and in the previous chapter, where his complicit sort of participation in Katay's death and his participation in Sunny's abortion is a lot of the sort of traumatic events that he continually sort of struggles with, because he played a central role in those two women's lives. Okay, so that is chapter 16. So we're very close to sort of the end of the book. So we have indication that, Doc Hadda has been sort of exposed as the man that he's been hiding all this time, at least to the reader. But he's continually sort of deceiving those around him with the perception that he's just a kindly, gentle old man. He's got all these sort of memories, haunting memories, flashbacks that remain kind of buried under the surface of his character. So he's a complicated man, and as readers, we sort of feel maybe ambiguous towards him, or even see him as an unlikable character for his participation in especially his daughter's abortion and in Kay's eventual death. So his participation we can't really forget as the reader, even though he seems very innocent and kind on the surface. He has, committed some somewhat crimes or unethical actions in relation to others.